Forgive my little pooch. Know what he's tripping off. Today's the Shabbat. There will be a person who will come into your life and they will proclaim things and they will say things and they will do things. What part of my screen do you see? Do you still see the Torah portion? And what do you see?
Looks like the Zoom is loading up.
Okay. So I'm going to do a new share because I don't need that share. That's what I was worried about. But Koti was reminding me, she said, you need to go live because we like to give our teachings out so people could be up on it. You know what I mean? Here you go. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we see Deuteronomy.
Okay, good. Thank you, Kel. So there's a person, okay, a prophet. Okay. Now in the Hebrew, it talks about, and especially in the Torah, excuse me, it talks about what type of prophets, right? There's several different types of prophets. A lot of people don't know this, okay? There's what you call a prophet, and there's called the prophet, okay? All right. When he's specifically pointing towards the means he's pointing directly to this in particular prophet. It's called the definite article. So, and there's prophets that come in Yahweh's name, and then there's prophets who come in their own name. Okay, so they come in Yahweh's name, and then there's ones who do come in their own name. But there's also ones who do come in Yahweh's name. So the false prophet can come in Yahweh's name, the true prophet can come in Yahweh's name. And then Yah tells us in Deuteronomy 18 how you can distinguish between the two. Okay, so this in particular thing says a prophet, which is true. So this one is not coming in Yahweh's name. This one is just telling you something, okay, or someone. So it could be a prophet to them. And they're going to come and they're going to get a message while they're dreaming, because that's how Yah speaks to people. So they're going to use this as the go-to. They're going to say, I had a dream. They're dreaming. Okay, it's called a kolam. Because they're going to, that's how Yah talks to the prophets. But he never spoke to Moshe that way. He's only spoke to Moshe how? Somebody tell me. Face to face. Well, you said, well, that's an idiom, okay? Meaning that did Moshe actually see Yahweh's face? No, because Yah says no man has ever seen me and yet be alive. Moshe wanted to see him. He said, you can't see my face. You'll die. What it's talking about here is as if they had a conversation face to face. So I would say, Moshe would say something, the creator would answer him right then, like you and I right now, if we're talking, like we're talking face to face. Are you and I face to face right now?
Yeah, just through Zoom.
Thank you. But this is what he's saying. So it's kind of like a Zoom deal without no vision or nothing. So Moshe would speak, Yahweh would hear, Yahweh would speak, and Moshe would hear. That's how Yah spoke to him. Yah never spoke to anyone else like that. So my question for you is this: if a prophet or someone else comes to you, they're going to come and say they got a dream, or they may say they have a vision. Do you supposed to just believe everything that everybody says to you?
Nope, gotta weigh it out.
No, what you have to do is what Yah says, that you have to examine. And how would you examine? If you had to examine a prophet, how would you examine? Somebody give me some ideas. We're going to learn something today. How would we examine that?
You have to know what the creator says.
You got to know what the creator said. And so what you do, as Kent is telling us, you'd have to have a scale. And on that scale, you'd have to put what the creator says on one side, and you have to put what the prophet said on the other side. And so the scale will go up or it might go down. Okay. But what we're looking for is what? When you put something on a scale, what you looking for?
Like the weight.
You're looking at the weight, but what do you want the scale to do in order for things to be just? What does the scale need to do?
They have to be balanced.
Thank you. It has to be balanced. Okay. So if the scale is not balanced and one thing is down and the other one's up, is that just? No. There has to be some equity. It has to have some equivalency. You guys understand what I'm saying to you? And
Yeah,
go ahead.
In this situation, shouldn't we want the Most High words to weigh more than the false words of this prophet?
Well, Yah tells us that, okay, so I'm putting a scale up here. Forgive my drawing. Yah tells us, he says, I want you, when someone comes to you, they're going to come to you with some words, okay? But I want you to search it out. I want you to put it on the scales. I want you to see what's going on. I want you to balance it out. If this side right here is going up, okay, that means this one's going down. All right. So what you have to do is you have to listen to you have to compare it to something. Okay. So we need comparisons. Okay. So the creator is telling you and I, because I've given you something to make comparisons. So what did he give us so we can examine? What are the faculties that you and I possess that allow us to make comparisons? What do you use to compare things with?
Oh, the senses.
No, the Torah.
Yes, but what about your person?
Eyes, nose, ears,
What did he
touch.
give you? Yes, he gave you your ears. That's number one. He gave you your eyes, so you can make comparisons. Yes, the five senses. He puts things in you. You put things in your hand to see if it's smooth or if it's granule or if it's sharp or if it's heavy. You understand? So just like you can pick something up with your hand and see if it's heavy, you can also pick up something with your ears and put it on the scales. The word for ears is called azan, and azan has a root in what they call weight, how you weigh things. Okay. So your ears are your scales. Remember, Yah says when someone comes to you and you have to try a case and you have to judge it using the scales of justice, I don't want you to care about what they look like. You can't use your eyes for judgment. They're not, they can be a witness, but they're not the only witnesses. Ultimately, judgment is found in what's heard, because you have to hear the testimony. And even if someone saw something, you still got to hear what they have to say. So what Yah is telling you and I today is, if someone comes to you, I need you to make some comparisons. What I need you to do is be able to weigh out what this person is saying. Weigh what the prophet said and weigh out what this person's saying, because they're going to get a message. Okay. And so the ultimate thing is, and not only they're going to have a message, but that message is going to be associated with a sign, and it will have a wonder. See, so it could be something someone says, but he's talking about people that can actually literally give you a sign. So this increased your odds of saying this can, you got to really weigh this out, because there's something attached to it. It's a sign and a wonder, and the sign or wonder come about. So he's saying these signs and wonders can actually come about. He'll say this person will come with a sign, he'll come with a wonder as he predicted. So it came true. And then this is what they say: let's follow other gods. Now, since we stopped right there, tell me about, how do you follow other gods? Give me some ideas. What religion or what thing could you compare to following other gods? What other gods? Who are the other gods?
It could be whatever. It could be religion. It could be your job. It could be having a food collection, money. Yeah.
Okay, so the key operative word here is other. So again, my word today is comparison. Okay, I don't know if I spelled that right. Comparison. So now he's asking you to compare other gods to who? You're making a comparison. So if gods are, if he's telling you let's follow other gods, then now he's telling you to make a what? He's telling you to make a comparison between who?
Between other gods.
Yohei, Wahei, and other gods. This is where we're at, Israel, Yaakov. We're called to have to make a comparison. Listen what I'm about to tell you. Yah does not want you and I to follow him without you first making a comparison. Compare Yah to these other gods. Let's start there. Okay. In this case, we know that Yahweh's name is found in what they call the Old Testament, which is not Old Testament. That's what they named it. That's what our enemies named it. Okay. And then we have the God and a Son and the Holy Spirit in the what they would call the New Testament, the New Covenant, because the Testament is what called a witness. Okay, that's what testament means. It means witness. Someone's giving a testimony. Okay, so we have the witnesses of Yahweh, and then we have the witnesses of God, JC, Yeshua, and the Holy Ghost. Because remember, he said, no man can say that I'm Elohim without the Holy Spirit giving it to them. So you got the new testimonies and you got the old testimonies. You got the old witnesses, and then you got the new witnesses. You got the old way of diet and lifestyle, and then you got the new diet. You got the old way of sacrifice, and then now you got the new way of sacrifice. Because now there's testimonies to this. You got the idea of how death works over here, and then you got the new way that death works over here. You see? So what it is, you guys, is that you have to make a comparison between what they would call, they say old, and they did that on purpose because old means withered away and done away with. Okay. So the question is this: if you had to make a, if you had to compare between what these people are saying and what the Creator said, that's what he's saying. You have to make a comparison. So they're going to try to get you to go for a gods that you have not known. So the only God that Israel has ever known is who? Who's the only God that we've known?
Yahweh. Yeah.
Yahweh. And they're going to tell you, well, let's go serve these gods. Them. Okay. So he says, you don't know these gods. I've never introduced you to them. You don't know them. You are not to listen to what that prophet or dreamer says. This is a command. This is a command. So if you and I are reading about someone else who came and so let me be clear, let me slow down. The prophet or someone, and I'll name a couple of people. JC, Yeshua, someone, Paul, Peter, Lucas, uses his real name, Marcus, Titus. You hear all the us, all that in there? Okay. All the Greeks and the Romans. And you listen to these people. All what these people are saying here is different than what Yah has said. Not one of these people have ever said anything. Lucas has never said, thus saith Yahweh. Paul has never said, thus saith Yahweh. And by the way, our friend JC, or better known, because this is the white guy, and then here's the black guy. You know, the black guy, his name is Yeshua. If he's black, then that makes him believable now. And it makes him, because he's our brother, it makes him, and he's like us, and he has nappy hair, and he's dark, and he's been mistreated, then he can be trusted. Especially because he got put to death and he died and he's innocent. So, you know, we really should trust him. Okay. So you got the white guy and then you got the black guy. All right. So the white guy and the black guy now are telling you a different story. The white guy never said Yahweh's name. The black guy never said it. John chapter number, what they call, I think 17. He said, I declared your name to them and I manifested your name. He said it like 3 or 4 times. But if you look at anything, and this is what the writer said, there's nowhere where Yah's name is mentioned. Yah's name is mentioned 6,828 times through the Tanakh, which is the Torah, the prophets, and the writings. Yahweh's name is not mentioned 0 times in the New Testament. Zippo. Okay. So why am I saying this? Because Yah is he's instructing his people today that you are not to listen to that prophet or what that dreamer says, for Yahweh is testing you. I opened it up this morning telling you that Yahweh is testing us because he wants to find out whether you really do love Yahweh with Elohim with all your heart and all your being. That's the test. This is the ultimate test. That's the ultimate test. We read in Ezekiel earlier this week that Yah says that you're serving gods. I asked you to get rid of your gods while you're in Egypt, and you wouldn't get rid of them. Yah was going to kill them while they're in Egypt. Yah's asking you and I today to get rid of your gods. He's asking us to abandon that which our ancestors taught us. If you do not abandon those Elohims that you've been given by your ancestors, then the Creator is going to kill you. Okay? And this is not a scare tactic. Okay? A lot of people run when I say that. But if I told you how blessed you are and how much he loves you, and then how blessed you are and how much he's with you, to give you a false sense of security, you would love me. You'd be all you there. This Zoom class would have over 75 to 80 people. Some even have 100 and something people on a weekly basis because they're telling them what they want to hear. Okay, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell you what Yahweh has said. Yahweh is testing you to see whether or not you love him. It's always going to be about love and hate with Yah. It's always going to be this. It's not going to be anything else. All he's looking for is for his wife to love him. All he's looking for his son and his daughters to love him. All he's looking for it is that his servant loves him. That's why he put in the Torah, if the servant decides that he loves his master, he goes and he puts his ear on the door and goes to his master, and his master pierces his ear to the door and he says, "You're my servant forever." That's what Yah wants to know, if you love him. That's where the question's at. Do you love him, and what do you love him? And it talks about all, and we know that word in Hebrew is call, and we know that the call is the palm of the hand, the kaf, and we know the lamed is the shepherd's staff, and we know when you got a palm with the staff, you got something in your hand, that means that you're walking, and you're walking not for yourself, you're walking and delivering a message for someone else, and the someone else that you're delivering that message is for Yahweh. And what message are you delivering? You're telling people that I am leka. I'm leaving my father and mother's house. I'm leaving my father and my mother's and my ancestors' gods. I'm leaving Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. I'm leaving that. I'm leaving the holidays that were set out by the people that hate my people. If Israel was to gather together, Yahweh would definitely be impressed. But guess what's going to happen? Israel does not want to leave this place. Israel does not want to leave their oppression. Israel does not want to leave their gods. Israel does not want to leave the celebrations and the feasts and the festivals and the holidays. Because the moment that you leave the festivals and the Christmas and the Easter and the Thanksgiving and the New Year's Eve parties and all this kind of stuff, you don't get to be what they would call free will to do what you want. You don't get to go ahead and screw whoever you want to screw. I'm sorry for using that language, but it's the truth. You don't get to kiss whoever you want to under a mistletoe anymore. You don't get to fall in love and get dressed up and put sweaters on like you in the wintertime and go around and give gifts to people. You don't get to do all that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, you don't get to have any more photos and pictures that you could pass on down to your children. So when they open a photo album, they see you and your kids under a tree. So when you get rid of all those photos and all those opportunities for you to show people that you've made it and that God has blessed you, and then you season it with him giving his only beloved son that whosoever believeth shall not perish, but have everlasting life. You're exchanging, like the Holy One of Israel says, my people have exchanged their glory for something that doesn't even exist. That's in the book of Jeremiah. He said, there's no other nation on the face of this earth who's ever exchanged their gods. No one. The Chinese haven't given up their gods. The Russians haven't given up their gods. The Pakistanians, none of them. The Mongolians, nobody has ever given up their gods except for Israel. What a traitor. What a betrayal of a woman. Yah says that you've abandoned me and you've forgotten me. You have left me. That's what we've done. And we've hurt him. The question is do you and I really love him? Do you and I really love him? I just told you that Yah says that we hurt him. If I'm not mistaken, it's in the book of Ezekiel. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's in chapter number 6. I could be wrong, but I'm not. Verse number 8. Nevertheless, I will leave a remnant, some who will escape the sword among the nations, when you have been scattered throughout the countries. Those of you who escape will remember me. Now, remember I told you, who can see your message recording? Okay. Sorry for getting sidetracked. I had a little chat note there. Nevertheless, I will leave a remnant, some of you who will escape the sword among the nations when you have been scattered throughout the countries. Those of you who escape will remember me. So you're telling me the people that are the remnant, you telling me those who escaped the sword went around to the nations, and then after he scatters you out throughout the countries, those of you who escaped will remember me among the nations where they have been exiled. Question is, do you remember him? Have you come to remember him? Yes. The you here is talking about us. Everybody is on Zoom right now. That's why I told you that you and I, this is not our first rodeo. How could somebody that he scattered among the who escaped from the slain, that he said, the slain will fall among you, and then you will know that I'm Yahweh, because I'm bringing judgment on you. So then after I finish doing that, I'm going to leave a little remnant. I'm going to leave a little remaining of you, and you guys are going to escape to the nations. Now that you're in the nations, I'm going to scatter you out through the countries of those nations. And then then those of you who escape will remember me among the nations where you've been exiled. That's us. You and I have been exiled. So Yah's talking to us. And he says here, now that you remember me, I want you to understand something. And this is what you can't forget. I want you to remember how broken I have been over their whoring hearts that left me. You see this? Because the only way that they got this whoring heart is they listened to a prophet and they listened to someone else who told them to go after another way. And over their eyes, they went a whoring after their idols. That's what I want you to know. I want you to know how you broke my heart. Where do you think you get your emotions from? Where do you think you get this love and desire? Where do you think if you have a mate and someone and they decide to cheat on you, how you feel like you're going to kill them? Or not only kill them, but you don't want to have nothing to do with them because they were intimate with someone else. How do you feel when you have been with someone that you truly loved and they betrayed you for someone else? How do you feel when you go into the photo album and you see a picture of another man with your wife? Or a woman with your husband on those special occasions? How do you feel that you've given them everything and they turn around and they choose to listen to someone else about someone else? They get a setup and they get a new opportunity with someone else. These people told you that it was something better. So because someone else told you this, you left me. And your eyes went a whoring after their idols. You see? What are you and I supposed to do? They are going to loathe themselves. They're going to loathe means hate and despise themselves for all their evils that they have committed in their disgusting practices. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. You understand? It isn't for nothing that I said I will bring this calamity upon them. It's always about at the end of the day to know that he's Yahweh, that he is the one. And Yahweh is the merciful one. He's the compassionate one. He's the one. This is when he talks about, then they'll know that I'm compassionate, I'm merciful. They'll know that I forgive crimes and sins. They'll know this. But the only way they can recognize this is if they finally come to their senses to know that they left me. Yah is looking for a person to be honorable. Do you love him? Let me show you. Our Torah portion is found in the book of Genesis, Bereshith. I'm going to show you something here. Jacob, Wayetze, that's the name of the Torah portion. He left and he went to the land of Padam Aram, to his uncle Laban's house. When he got there to the well, he saw, what's her name? Who did he see? Somebody tell me while I'm looking up some information. What did he see? Who did he fall in love with at the well? Huh?
Rachel?
Yes, he fell in love with Raquel. Okay. So when he fell in love with Raquel, right? He said, I want to go and I want to be with her. And so he went there. He stayed at his father-in-law's house, or his uncle at that time. And he said, hey, I want to, the uncle goes, hey, I want you to be part of the family, but, I don't want you to, you're my blood and flesh and blood, but I don't want you to work for nothing. So, what are your wages? What do you want in exchange for your time and for your energy? And what did he say?
He wants to marry his daughter.
I want Raquel. That's what I want. But ultimately, who did he get?
Leia.
He got Leia. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. What do you guys know about Leia? Somebody tell me. What do you know about her? When someone says Leia, what do you think about?
I think that she was the one that wasn't as desired by him.
Yes. And
Didn't she
a lot of
wrong?
people think that she was,
Yeah.
what's that?
Did she have something wrong with one of her eyes?
Well, yeah, her eyes were they were what they would call weary. Her eyes were weary. Like she always looked like she was tired. Okay. And she wasn't, she wasn't as attractive. A lot of people say, oh, she was ugly and unappealing. So, and Raquel was beautiful. And it said Raquel was beautiful. And it said that she had a form on her. She had a beautiful body. She was shapely and she was gorgeous, and that's what everyone's after. Okay. But this one here, and Leia was, she was wearied. But it also talks about, and that's what her name actually means. It means weary. It means tired. It means exhausted. It means to be grieved. Okay. So she was grieved. Raquel was a shepherdess, correct? Yeah. She kept the sheep. She was out there bringing her father's sheep. So she was a shepherdess. So her and Yaakov, when they first met, he was telling the people, hey, shouldn't you guys be out here watering the sheep? Shouldn't you be doing this and this and that? Because he was a shepherd himself. So the Torah is letting us know what other occupation he had besides, they said he was a man of the tents. He was a man who had relationships with people, but he's also a man of the flocks. So he understood how to do flocks, and he was a very strong man. So when he met these brothers from the east, they were sitting there waiting. He's like, hey, you guys should supposed to have them out here and do this and that. And have you met, do you guys know Lavan? And they were like, yeah, we know him. Is he doing well? Yeah, he's doing well. Well, here's his daughter. His daughter's coming right now. And it was Raquel. And he fell on her and he cried. He said, I'm your brother. Our parents are relatives and so forth and so on. She runs home, tells her father runs out, takes him, kisses him, embraces him. And then he stays there for 30 days and he asks him, what do you want your wages to be? Come work for me. And what would you want in exchange for your work? And he said, I want your daughter. I want Raquel. I want her. And he said, okay, 7 years. And he did the 7 years. Okay. But he didn't get Raquel. What he got was weariness, tiredness, exhaustedness, and grief. He got Leia. Okay. He was mad about it. And his father-in-law, he asked his father-in-law, why have you deceived me? Now, if you remember the story, when Yaakov went there, he told his father-in-law everything that had happened to him about his brother, what happened between his mother, why he was sent there. He discussed what happened with the blessing. He told him all that kind of stuff. He didn't withhold anything from Lavan. So Lavan had what they would call some ammunition against him. And if you notice what Lavan said, when he said, well, you deceived me. He said, no, I didn't deceive you. This is how we do it. We don't give the youngest to the oldest. So he's trying to make a distinction between the way the Yaakov's family was working, like his mother, versus how Lavan and them did it. They're both from the same family, but that was kind of like a little dig on Yaakov. That was kind of like, I'm telling you right now, like what you did to your brother, that's not going to happen to my daughter, my oldest. We're not going to slight her for the oldest. Like your sister did to my nephew. We're not going to let that happen. You guys follow me? That was a dig. Okay. Any questions on that? This is part of her name as well. Can you still see my screen? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you, can you explain what was that about?
Well, when he slighted him, when Lavan slighted him, he wanted Raquel. So he put, instead of Raquel being in a tent, he set Leia in that tent. And the whole time that Lavan knew that he was not going to give Raquel. What it was is that when Yaakov came to him, he told him everything that just happened, the reason why he was there, why he was sent away, his brother wanted to kill him, how the blessing was taken from his brother. I'm pretty sure he told him about how the firstborn rights. So it wasn't like how we do stuff, how we come out and everybody just, you could go to someone's house and give them a little bit of information. No one asks any questions. In these cultures, what people did, especially men and women, They sat down and they got down to what happened. They were very clear about things. So he expressed everything that happened. So Lavan, in his own way, was kind of getting back at Yaakov for what he did, meaning like, you guys got over on the oldest because Esau was the oldest and the birthright belonged to him. So he says, in our culture, we're not going to let you marry the younger one without going to the older one. We're going to give the oldest what she deserves first, versus what just happened with you guys. Your mother just gave you she tricked your father and gave you the blessing. Well, that's not going to happen here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to deceive you like you just deceived somebody. So he's using Yaakov's experience against him. Do you follow what I'm saying? He's using his experience, what he just went through, to justify why he just did what he did to him by giving him his older daughter. So he deceived him because Yaakov was expecting to get Raquel and he didn't. Just like Yitzchak was expecting to get Esau and he didn't. He got Yaakov. So that's the connection right there. So when he got Leia, her name is to be impatient. Okay. This woman is a focal point in this portion. The name of Yaakov is mentioned hundreds of times in the book of Genesis. And it's mentioned at least 30, I think 20 to 30 times in the book of Isaiah and all the other prophets. Okay. So the majority of his name is used throughout the Torah, and especially in Genesis in the beginning, or better shift. So I don't want to focus on Yaakov like I did last week. There's something in this Torah portion I want you to see about Leia. She's the focal point. Okay. What I found about Leia was that not only that she means weary and patient, she had a deficit in terms of her appearance. When people name children, they name them according to their character or their experience. So when they named this girl, they saw this and were like, oh, she has an eye, something's wrong with her eyes. So, let's name her Leia, And so they named her that, just like we're going to get into the names of the sons of Israel, where you find out what do their names mean. Your name is your character. Okay. So she was impatient. Okay. Raquel, she means a ewe lamb. She's just a lamb. That's what it means. A female lamb, a ewe lamb. Okay. Just so you can know that, but my focus is going to be on Leia. Leia had, can you guys tell me if you know how many sons did Leia actually birth? It's a quiz question for you.
6.
Yes. Leia has 6 sons. Yes, good job. She has 6 sons. Total, how many sons did she have? 6 are natural. How many other sons did she literally were her sons by law? I'll tell you. 8. Okay. She had 8 sons. Okay. So 6 of her was natural birth. Okay. 6 were born from her, and 2 were born from her maid girl. Okay. Which was a slave, which is a servant. Okay. So that gives you your 8. Okay. Raquel had 2 natural, and she had 2 that were born through her slave girl. The children are Leia's. Even these 2 right here are Leia's. Not only because they legally belong to her. Okay, they're her sons by law. So they get all inheritance rights and everything because she owned that servant. She gave her servant to her husband as a wage. Okay. And because the servant belonged to Leia, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Because the servants belong to her, she could give to her servant whoever she wants to use, like a land. Because there's been some questions about polygamy. Well, why did she give her servant to him, and is she really a wife? She's not really a wife. She's actually a concubine, which is a wife. But a concubine is not just somebody that you go in and have sexual relations with. It's somebody that you take upon yourself to take care of them, but they don't have any legal standing as the rights of a wife. They're a wife, but they're not a legal wife. Okay, so their kids don't get anything. That's when Abraham had his sons, he had concubines, and he gave gifts to his concubines' children. Okay. So legal rights always go to the legal children. And even though this slave girl, okay, I think her name is Bilhah, she gave birth to 2 sons to Leia, and Leia owned those children. They are hers. They are literally hers, even though someone else birthed them. Okay, so that's the way that culture works. Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that these 2 sisters, Leia and Raquel, were at war. They're at war with each other. Okay, there's a war between the family, and you're going to see this war played out in the remaining portions of Genesis. You're going to see the wars between these sons, and that's what's been a lot of problems between. And this is war in a family. Okay, so there's always contention, but the contention started with these 2 sisters. Okay, which is Leia and Raquel. Okay, the firstborn son, his name is Reuven. Okay, I like this, but I don't like it. I want to read it to you. I want to show it to you, and then I'm going to read it to you. Okay, so I'm just giving you a timeline here. Let me show you in the text so you can understand. Let me get out of here right quick. Let me give you the text, because the text will do a better job than what I can. All right. There's something here I want to show you. 20, I need to speed it up too. And don't get intimidated by the, look at me, I'm in the wrong. Don't get intimidated by the Hebrew. I'll explain it to you. $29. All right. Okay, so we talked, you know about the marriage, what happened there. Here's the part we want to talk about. Okay. Here we are. So we know about the marriage. Now we're going to talk about how these sons were born. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. It says, and when saw Yahweh saw something. That's what that word right here means. He saw Yahweh. Yahweh saw that unloved was Leah, the weary one. The tired one was unloved. Well, they're trying to soften the blow. This word is not unloved. This word right here is, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to tell it to you. I'm going to show you. This word is called Saneh, and it's a very powerful word, and it's called hate. Yah saw that Leah was hated. She was hated. And someone tell me by who?
By her husband.
Thank you. She was hated by her husband. Guess who else who hated her? Take a guess.
Rachel.
Rachel hated her. Okay. So she's hated by her sister. She's hated by her husband. Okay. Can you guys see can you see my other screen right here? Can you? You probably can you?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go here. What can you see?
You right now.
Okay.
Just you.
Okay, well, that's not good. Let me Let me show you something. Praise the Holy One. All right, now you can see this. What do you see?
Thorn.
Says grab hold shield.
You see a thorn, right? You guys see a thorn?
Yes.
Good. Good. This word right here, okay, this is what the root of the word, what they call, and we saw just earlier, is called sane. Okay. Sane. Okay. Sane means to hate. Okay. So this letter, or this name of this letter right here, is the sin right here, is called, they call it sin, but it's not sin like that what we were told. This is actually the name of a Hebrew letter, okay, which they identify as a S, or a, you know, or this particular look. But its root means a thorn. That's what it means. It's a thorn bush. Okay. And so the word hate, sane, has this letter in it. Okay. And this letter is identifying what hatred is. Hatred is something that has thorns on it. Now, when you see a thorn, what's the first thing, if you came across and you saw some flowers, or you had to do some yard work and you saw this, what would you do?
Avoid it because it's
You're gonna
painful.
avoid it. Okay. So avoidance. Okay, I got to get another color. I don't like this color. Thank you, Samya. Thank you for that, because that's a very powerful that you just said. You would avoid it. Okay. And you're going to stay away from it. Okay. You're going to avoid it and you're going to stay away. Okay. And when you do avoid something and you stay away from it, you put what they call distance. You're going to put distance between you and the thing that you believe that can hurt you. That's what you're going to do. Okay. So in its actual meaning, sin here, the letter, or the name of the word, or the name of the letter, it means to grab or take hold of. And it's like a shield in a wall. What this means is that what they would used to do is, when a shepherd was, you know, shepherding his sheep and he was on a journey, he would take these thorn bushes and he would make a corral around the sheep. You know, so if you got a little, you know, you got a little sheep right here, or a whole bunch of sheep, or herd, what they would do is they would put a whole bunch of thorn bushes around that herd and to protect it. So anybody who try to come in would have to hit this. And then of course, the shepherd would lay in front of the door right here. He would lay right here, and then the thorn bushes would stop anyone else from coming in, any predators. So it was a way to actually support and protect and be a wall, okay, against something. Okay. So it gives you, as you can see, it puts distance between the enemy and that which you're trying to protect. Okay. So hatred has two different ways to look at it. There's a positive way to look at hatred, and there's a negative way to look at hatred. And that's where we're going to spend our time. Okay. So remember, I want you to hear me. There's a positive way. There's a positive hatred. Okay. And there's a negative hatred. Okay. So in this case, when we're going to discuss about her, it's the thorn bush. The thorn can be used for a good thing, but it also can be used for a bad thing. Okay. It can. And I'm going to show it to you. So I just wanted to give you a picture to let you know where hatred, what it looks like. So when you think about hatred, I don't want you to be abstract anymore. I don't want you to think, well, I hate somebody, so it's just an emotion. No, it's not an emotion. It's connected directly to something that causes pain. Okay. That causes some discomfort. Okay. And it might cause you an emotional problems. And guess what it does? It causes you to get tired. It causes you to be weary of how you feel. Leia was hated so much, okay, by her sister. And we can see that in her sister's conversation when she had her children, which I'll show it to you. Okay. She was hated because of how she looked. She was hated. Okay. She had no possible way of changing this. Okay. People just put distance between her because she wasn't the glamour girl. She wasn't the so-called beautiful one. She wasn't. She wasn't something desirable. When Yaakov saw her, he just wanted to go past her. I don't want her. He saw something with his eyes that he went after. Matter of fact, he went after the one, right, that was barren. He went after the one that couldn't bring any fruit. The testimony tells us that he was angry with her because she told him, why haven't you given me a child? As if it was his fault and he already had a whole bunch of kids. That's a whole nother topic. She's the one that took her father's gods. She's the one. Okay? The one who's doing most of the complaining. Okay? So Leia is the center of our attention because Leia is the one who's hated. So I'm going to ask you a question. How many ways can you hate someone? Name the 2 ways. It could either be blank or it could be blank. What is it? It could be positive or it could be negative. Positive or negative. 2 different ways. Okay? You guys with me? So let me know that you're with me. So
Righteous hate.
yes, there's a righteous hatred and there's an unrighteous hatred. There's a positive hate and there's a negative hate. So Yahweh saw that she was hated. Leia was hated. And because she was hated, he opened up her womb. Okay? He opened it up. Yahweh opened up her womb. Yahweh is the one who's doing all this. He opened up her womb. And what he did was, and so here the assertion is, if her womb was opened by Yahweh, what was it before it was open?
Closed.
It was closed. So before that, she was closed and she was barren. Before this, because it asserted that Yahweh is the one, because she was unloved and she was hated, he opened up her womb. And her womb right here, womb is her belly, but also too, you know where the womb is, but womb means it's called the rakam. And the rakam has to do with what you call mercy and what you call kindness. When a woman is able to have a child, that's Yah showing mercy and kindness to her. He opened up her womb. So when Yah began this family, he began it with the person who was what? Hated. Tell me why. Why did he choose her to open up her womb?
Perhaps because she's more like Yah. She probably was compassionate.
Yes. Now, why are you giving it away, Samiyah? The reason why he went to her and he knew this is because Yahweh identified with her because Yah was hated. Yah was hated by Yaakov. And when I'm talking about Yaakov, I'm talking about his 12 sons. Because that's why he's always talking about Yaakov. The 12 tribes of Israel hate Yah. They hate him. They despise him. He's unattractive to them. And that's why they go after the one that looks good. And that's why they go after the one with the goodly shape. That's why they're willing to bypass that which can be opened, and they go for that which is closed and unprofitable. And you're going to see that.
But Yah goes for the heart.
Yes. Yah goes for the heart. When I talked about Yaakov here, I'm talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. They hate Yahweh. Our family hates Yahweh. Listen to me, and I'll prove it. And it says Raquel was barren. So Yah opened up her womb, and then her womb, Raquel's womb, was closed. To be barren means to be closed. And if a woman's womb is closed, that means that, a lot of times we look at, well, Sarah's womb was closed. Yeah, until Yahweh opened it. Raquel's, Rivka's womb was closed until Yahweh opens it. Raquel's womb was closed, and then Yahweh eventually opened it. When Sarah was kidnapped by the king Abimelech or Pharaoh's house, Yah closed all the wombs of those women in his household. Then after they gave back Sarah, Yah what? Then Yahweh what? He opened the womb. You understand? So this is the way Yah does it. Yah can open, he can close. And whatever Yah opens, can no one close, and whatever Yah closes, no one can open. And she conceived Leia, and this is where we're going to get into what it is, so you can really see what this is about. So she conceived Leia, and she bore a son, the Watele the Bain, her son, and she called him Watikra. She called him Shimon Reuven. Okay. Why did she name him Reuven? Okay. Again, your name is what? Is character. Your name is your character. So his name is a compound. So we got two parts of his name. Okay. The first part of his name is called Re'eh, and the last part is called Bain. Okay. Bain. So let's see how that is. Okay. So here's the first part of his name. Ra'ah. I said Ra'eh, but it's Ra'ah. Could be same thing. Resh and Aleph and a Hey. That's his name. That Yah looked and gave him a what? What is Yah gave her a what? A male or female, a son. Thank you. Thank you. So follow along. So Yah saw and gave her a son. Listen what she said. With Ra'ah, he has looked Yahweh upon my affliction, and therefore now he will love me, my husband. So the first child that she had is Reuben, meaning, behold, Yah has given me a son. See? Yah sees. So within his name, when you think about Reuben, it really means that Yahweh, what? Yahweh sees. Yahweh saw what? Yahweh saw my affliction. This is one of Yaakov's sons, Reuben. Yah sees Yaakov's affliction, and Yah is reminded about this Yaakov's affliction by this son, his first son. Yahweh is speaking to us today. He's letting us know, if you get rid of this son, Reuben, out of my presence, I won't see the affliction. Because that's what his name means. That's why they're trying to get rid of Israel. Because if you could get rid of this son right here, this is why he got taken out of his position of firstborn and his rights. But Yah says he's still a son. He never got rid of him. He never erased him from the tribe, because every one of those sons' names means something, and it has to do with Yahweh. So when Yah says name Reuben, anytime you hear about Reuben, it shouldn't be that you just say that's one of Yaakov's sons, or that's one of the tribes of Israel. What you need to understand is saying that Yahweh sees. And what does Yahweh see? Yahweh sees our affliction. And this is from the person who's hated. Leia. She's like Yah. Do you see the connection? I hope you guys can see it. Yah sees our affliction. That's why she named him this. Let's go to the next one. Now, because obviously, when Yah sees our affliction, she's hoping that now that her husband would love her. Somebody tell me if Leia is in the on the behalf of Yah because she's hated like he is, what does Yahweh want from his people? He wants to be loved by what? Just the opposite.
Yeah.
By his what? If it's her husband and she's in the place of going through and hated like Yah, she wanted her husband to love her. So what does Yahweh want?
To be loved
By who?
by Israel.
And who's Israel?
12
His
tribes.
bride.
Which is his what?
Oh, his wife.
His wife.
I mean, I guess.
You see the difference? You see the contrast? You see the comparison? She wants to be loved. Listen. So her first son, Yah opened her womb. He opened her womb so she can have this son so that she can name him Yahweh sees my affliction. So now what? So she called his name Reuben and she says, now my husband will love me. That's her goal. Her goal is to have her husband love her. That's all she's after. She's after love. I asked you earlier today, do you love Yahweh? Well, we're going to find out. Yahweh loves us because Yahweh sees our affliction. And it's not until you and I go through our affliction that you and I can see, because it's always about seeing that Yahweh loves us. When what? When we accept our affliction. You understand? And we understand it and we look at it. This is not about just Yaakov. I told you this is deeper than just Yaakov. This is about only Leah and Rachel, but primarily Leah. She conceived again. And Wachel laid a bane. She gave another son. And a son basically in Hebrew means a continuation. There's a bet is the first letter and then a noon. Okay. The bet is a house or a tent. And the noon, the next letter means a seed. And seed means to continue. So when you talk about having a son, you're talking about a continuance of the tent or a continuance of the house and the continuance of the family. Because that's in the house, which is in the tent, which there is the seed. That's why it's called a bane. That's why those letters are there. It's not just a son. It means a continuation of the family. So now what she's doing is she's continuing the family. Okay. And Watomer, and she said, Ki Shema. You guys know what Shema means. Tell me what Shema means. Shema Yisrael.
To hear. I mean,
yes, to hear. So now she says that what? Yahweh hears.
hears. Yeah.
So first, Yahweh sees my affliction. Then she says, Yahweh what? Then she says, Yahweh has heard. He's Shema. Yahweh has heard perfectly that I was what? That I'm hated. I'm hated. I'm hated. Yahweh heard. So you're saying that Yahweh heard? So who did Yahweh hear that she was hated? Who was talking about her? Oh, that's right. Raquel was talking about her. Oh, that's right. Yaakov, when he was in a tent with her, they were talking about her. Oh, that's right. Lavan, her father, was talking about her. You don't think these people are having conversations? You don't think her brothers are having conversations? You think this was a secret hatred? You think this was something that was put under the covers? No. This was publicly known. You don't think the slave girls knew that she was hated? You don't think she felt like every time somebody looked at her, how she felt disgraced and tired of, she was tired of how she felt. She not only looked the part, but she felt it emotionally, spiritually. She was cast down. She was exhausted emotionally. from being treated with hatred, for people putting distance between her, putting space between her, don't want to be around her. Yaakov was in the tent with Raquel, hanging out with her, the one he loved. And he's running around and following around and playing jokes with her and loving each other and playing through her hair and everything. But every time he looked at her, he hated her. He'd have nothing kind to say. Just going through the motions with her. I got to take this because this is what's been given to me. And the whole time he didn't understand that the one that's hated is the one that has the most benefit. This world does not understand that Yaakov has been hated. In Psalms 53, the world hates you. They despise you, and you don't even look like a human being to them anymore. They can't see the benefit of being with you or being joined to you. This is what this woman was going through. But in the midst of it all, she recognized that Yahweh sees and Yahweh hears. You don't think he sees our affliction? You don't think he hears people talking? He sees it all and he hears it all. He's the one who made the eyes and he's the one who made the ears. And if he's hearing it, he's weighing it out and he's making a judgment. Oh, you better hear what I'm saying today. This woman was despised, but Yahweh heard it. She said, Anoki, I am hated. I'm hated. When it says Anoki right here in the Hebrew text, just to let you know, they tell you the verb first, and then they tell you who they're talking about. And it's not just hated in terms of ED at the end. This is a participle, ing. That means that the hatred wasn't just, I hate you, and then it's done. It means that they are hating me. They're hating me. It means it's continuing. All her life, just hated. People are hating her. Finding a reason not to be around her. Finding a reason to put distance. You think that we have loved Yahweh from the time that he's come and got us? He testified to say that you've hated me. From the moment I came and got you, you hated me. You've been hating me and hating me and hating me. You think Israel loves Yahweh today? If you want to be honest, it's still a participle. It's still an ing. They haven't changed their ways. They're going around saying that he came down to become a man and died so the wicked could go away and be free. Not only that I'm hated, and he has given me to Lee, Gam also, this son, this in particular one, and why Tikra. And she proclaimed and called his Shemo Shimon. Because she says Yahweh hears. He's heard how I'm being hated. They're hating me. They got a thorn bush. Everyone is away from me. I'm in my tent with my children and my slave girl by myself. And she conceived again. You got to see the Torah here. You got to see there was more time spent with her and talking about what she experienced because Yah is trying to tell us something. And that again means a repeated action. And Waiteled, and she bore a son again. This is her third son. And Watomer, and she said, now, right now, At this time, Pa'am, Walawi, now my husband will be attached to me. That's where you get the name Lewi, which they call Levi. It means to be attached. It means to be joined. Now, my husband is going to be attached to me. Now I'm going to be able to grab hold of him. Now, can't you see why Yahweh named this boy this? Because Yah is trying to find a way to attach himself to Israel, to the people that hate him. So he gives us the Lewi, which is the priesthood, to allow us to be able to join with him. But what do we have? We got a whole bunch of misfits and idiots that tell us in the New Testament that now Yahweh has done away with the priesthood. Now all of a sudden he says, I'm no longer interested in Lewi, means I'm not longer joined to you. Now I'm going to get a whole bunch of fishermen. I'm going to get some fishermen. I'm going to get some tent makers. And I'm going to get a whole bunch of misfits that have no jobs or employment and a whole bunch of idiots running around to go tell you a different story. Now, instead of them being the people that I join you to me now you're going to get Peter, which is a fisherman, to tell you that he's a royal priesthood now. That he's a royal priesthood and that you're a holy nation. You got to be stupid to believe that. Oh, you're calling all people stupid. No, Yahweh said my people are stupid and they're dumb and they're brainless. How are you going to take what some fisherman says? And Peter is going to replace the priesthood of Lewi? Because Yeshua said so? You bought that line. Yah declared the only people that can approach me is this family. Anybody else that puts their hands to it, I'm going to kill them. How many people died in the wilderness because they wanted to take over the priesthood in their rebellion? Thousands. Yah is joining himself to Yisrael through this son here because now Yah is joining himself. This wife wants to be joined to her husband. Israel, if you are Yahweh's wife, it's only one who can help join us back to him is Lewi. Yahweh's going to join himself. She said, why? To me, because I have borne him. Watalati lo. She was able to birth something. Your wound has to be open in order to bring something out of it. Your brain has to be open. Your mind has to be opened in order for you to bear fruit. When he tells you that I want you to love me, I need you to open up your mind. I need you to listen. I need you to stop thinking that this is magical. I need you to study. I need you to come and talk to me. And let me talk to you. She said, I've had 3 sons. And upon this, she kara shemo Lewi. To join. To bind, to attach. We are attached to Yahweh through this family. Do you want to be attached to your husband? Then you better not get rid of this son, because that will untouch you and detach you. This is the reason why Yah says you go abide many days without a sacrifice, without an offering, without a priest, without a king. Again, to the point, or is Yahweh with us? No. Why are you talking with so much passion? Because I'm sick and tired of people saying something that's not true. The only way that we'll be attached to Yahweh is when the priesthood is back reestablished. There's no reason to have a king without a priesthood. There's no reason to have a priesthood without no offerings. There's no offerings without no land. And she did it again. And she conceived. And she bore a son, a bane, and Watomer. And this is what she said, Hapa'am. And again, now I would praise who? Yahweh. I'm going to praise Yahweh. I'm going to Oda Yahweh. That praise means lift up your hands. That's what praise is. And she named him Yahudah. Now, you need to understand this. There is no way possible. Look at the order. Pay attention. Praise the Holy One. Go back and find my screen. There is no way possible. I don't need that. Oh, let me see. Is it here? Let me find the right thing. Yeah, there you go. I have every last one of her firstborn fourth sons here on this screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Now we know who these 4 children are. There's other sons that she had, and we don't have a whole bunch of time to go through each one of them. But the ones that Yahweh wanted me to show you today were these 4. Because these 4 have to do with the Creator. They all do, but these in particular. Yahweh sees affliction. He sees it. Yahweh, this is about Yahweh. That's who this is who the one who was wearied and the one who was tired and the one who was hated, the one who was exhausted from her time of being treated a certain way. Is not until she recognized that Yahweh sees her affliction that she was able to understand her purpose. You understand? Yahweh sees. She learned that through her being hated. She learned through her hatred that Yahweh hears. She understands that. She wanted to be joined to her husband because she was after love. After that, when she had this 4th son, she gave praise to Yahweh. Why? Because she felt as if she had a relationship with the Holy One. Listen, the children that she had was reflective of her life and her life experience. Yah sent her through this so he can reveal himself to her through her children. You and I, if we can't understand that Yahweh sees and Yahweh hears, these are the first things that Yahweh wants you to know. The first thing he wants you to know that he sees your affliction. The second thing he wants us to know is that he hears that you're hated. The third thing he wants you to know is that I'm going to join myself to you. And the fourth is after I join myself to you, then what I'm going to do is that's when I want the praise. So when Yahweh sets up the kingdom and he brings us back, Yah's going to respond to the affliction like he did with her, to the one that's hated, because we're hated. Like him. He's hated too. He's hated. We're hated. He sees the affliction. He hears the hating going on, but then he's going to find a way to join us back to him. Once he joins himself to us by the method of these people, this priesthood. Once the priesthood is reestablished, then Yahweh then will bring about a king. It's the priesthood that gets put first, then the king. You can't have a king without a priesthood. Yahweh set up the priesthood first. Then he says, I'll call upon a man to be a king on the earth for me and representative. So until Yahweh sets this up, you can forget about this. It's an order. That's what we have to see here. Not an order of right, like, oh, Levi has a right over Yehuda. No, Lewi's position is one of a priesthood. The position of praise has to do with the king. That's when you and I can praise Yahweh. When we have our king. When he sets a man over the tribes of Israel, and then people will then praise him by raising their hands and thanking Yahweh and clapping them together, praising Yahweh by using their hands to go out into the field that he gave them of the land to bring the fruits to him, the first fruits to him. This is all that Yahweh's ever promised Israel. Land and descendants in an order in which they can be able to approach him. There's a positive way of hatred and there's a negative way of hatred. I've expressed to you today the negative way. The positive way is this. Is for us Deuteronomy chapter number 7. We can take the attitude of our king. His name was Dawid. And Dawid said something. And I want to see if they tell us this in the way that I know it's supposed to be in 139. I think of verse number 21, I think. Yes. This is what Dawid said. Let's just start here. For you fashioned my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I thank you because I'm awesomely made and wonderfully, right? Your works are wonders. I know this very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes could see me as an embryo, but in your book, all my days were already written. My days have been shaped before any of them existed. Elohim, how I prize your thoughts, how many of them there are. If I count them, there are more than the grains of sand. If I finish the count, I'm still with you. Elohim, if only you would kill off the wicked. Men of blood, get away from me. They invoke your name for their crafty schemes. Yes, your enemies misuse it. Yahweh, how I hate those who hate you. I feel such disgust with those who defy you. I hate them with unlimited hatred. They have become my enemies too. Examine me, Elohim, and know my heart, and test me and know my thoughts. See if there's any, or see if there is in me any hurtful way, and lead me along the eternal way. This is so profound. David has claimed and proclaimed that the people that hate Yah hate him, and they are his enemies too. Who are the ones who hate Yahweh? Who are the ones who have declared that they will not listen to one word that he says? Who are these people? I'm going to show you who they are. So now you can get the positive of the hatred. The first time it's mentioned by the Creator himself is in chapter number 20 of the book of Exodus. And he mentions it in verse number 5, which has to do with the covenant. These are the people that hate him. You are not to bow down to them. Let's start it off the right way. Verse 3. You are not to have, verse 1. Hallelujah. These are the words to Yahweh. I am Yahweh. I'm the merciful one. I'm the compassionate. I'm the long-suffering one. I am your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the abode of slavery. You are not to have other gods before me. That means no one. You're not to make for yourselves a carved image of any kind of representation of anything in the heaven above, on the earth beneath, or in the water below the shoreline. That includes a man and a bird and a dove and a fish. That includes the stars and the moon and everything. Nothing that you see with your eyes. You better not make any image of anything. You are not to bow down to them or serve them, for I am Yahweh. I am a jealous Elohim, and I'm punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Yah has people who literally hate him. Hatred is to put distance between the people that avoid him, that don't want to listen to him. Those are the ones. But guess what? But displaying grace to the 1,000 generations of those who love me and obey my commandments. Two different type of people. Either you love him or you hate him. You hear what I said? Either you love him or you hate him. You love him or you hate him. They hate me or they love me. Those who love me, those are the ones who are going to get the grace. Those who love me, those are the ones who go obey my commandments. So if on the opposite, on the flip side of the scale, you would find the ones that hate him and the ones who love him. The ones who love him are the ones who keep his commandments. You can't say that you love Yahweh and you don't do what he says. For 1,000 generations. And then he says, you are not to use lightly the name of Yahweh, because if you do, right, because Yahweh will not leave unpunished someone who uses his name lightly, meaning you have no regard for his name. We have to get this in our minds and understand and stop playing games with ourselves in these mental gyrations and these psychological games that tell us that well, no, they don't hate him. They do hate him. And you're going around saying that they don't. I had a guy tell me, oh, no, we don't hate him. They don't hate him. They just don't know. They hate him. Somebody's lying. Do you understand? Again, right here. They hate him. Don't make any excuses, because there is no excuses. And the reason why he's telling us this is because he's about to pull the trigger. There's people that hate us. Where did I want to go? Line chapter number 7. Do the same, or will send among you the nations and great, small, and expel the nations, nevertheless. Disaster who hand over the kings. Line chapter number 7. Oh, there you go. We'll close on this. Chapter number 7, verse number 6. For you are a people set apart as holy for Yahweh your Elohim. Yahweh your Elohim has chosen you from out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his own unique treasure. Yahweh did not set his heart on you or chose you because you outnumbered more than any other people. On the contrary, you were the fewest of all peoples. Rather, it was because Yahweh loved you, not Leoved, loving, not just it's done. That's a mistranslation. He's loving you. He's loving you and I. And because he wanted to keep his oath with our fathers that he swore to our ancestors. Yahweh brought us out with a strong hand, and he redeemed us from a life of slavery under the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. From this, from what? From his deliverance, you can know that Yahweh, your Elohim, is indeed Elohim. From that alone, he's the faithful Elohim who keeps his covenant and extends grace to those who what? Love him. You got to love him. It's only for those who love him. And they observe, meaning they do his commandments to 1,000 generations. And that's who's going to get the grace. The grace is I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring you back to your ancestors, to your lands. But here's the kicker. But he repays those who hate him to their face. And he doesn't do anything but what? He destroys them. He destroys the people that hate him. The people that don't do the commandments are the ones who hate him. The people that will not keep the Shabbat are the ones who hate him. The people that will not honor their father and mother are the ones who hate him. The people that refuse to stop eating pork and shellfish are the ones who hate him. The people that try to set up another priesthood are the ones who hate him. The people that refuse, listen, to read what he says and listen to what he says are the ones who hate him. The people who have chosen another God and said that he came in the form of a man are the ones who hate him. He says that I've come and sent these people to test you to see whether or not you love me. I have to find out if you're going to be wholehearted with me. So I'm not going to just allow you to say nothing to me. I'm going to put you to the test to find out whether you love me or whether you hate me. I sent you in exile and take everything away from you to find out if you would do what I said if you didn't have nothing in your hands, to see if you would love me. I don't need a priesthood in place right now to find out if you love me. I'm going to take away the priesthood. I'm going to take away the offering. I'm going to take it because all those things you guys were using as a front to say that you love me. I'm going to strip you completely naked, and I'm going to see whether or not you're going to come to me. I'm going to see when your trouble comes upon you, are you going to call upon my name? I'm going to see when that day comes and someone told you someone saved you from your sins, whether or not you're going to believe that, or you're going to believe the God who took you out of the land of Mitzrayim, that you didn't see no shape. I'm going to test you to find out whether or not you love me or you hate me. But if you hate me, I want you to know I'm going to destroy you. And I'm not going to be slow about it. Those who hate him, he's going to repay to their face. I'm going to pay you back. But I got to find out first. I got to find out if you love me or if you hate me. Are you going to put some distance between me and you? You go take somebody else's word over what I said? Because you got two choices. You got comparisons to make. Oh, you don't think I allow the New Testament? I allow the New Testament for you. I told you when I send you out, I'm going to send you to a place where you're going to serve gods that your fathers didn't know. Wood and stone, the cross, the images, sun worship, eat my body, drink my blood, sins forgiven, somebody else can die for your behalf. And the whole time I've been saying the whole time that nobody can die for you. And all of a sudden now I've changed my mind when I told you I never changed my mind about what I said. They told you the covenant's done away with. I told you the covenant's forever. I'm never changing my covenant. It's forever. It's forever, people. It's not until something changes. The method and how I'm going to give you the Torah now, instead of me writing it down or having someone write it on a piece of paper or a scroll of paper so someone can lose it. And then they find it years later and then they feel, oh, we're in bad shape. There won't be no, well, I found a copy of it. There won't be no more. Because when I bring you back to the land, I'm going to put you in your own land and I'm going to write the Torah on your minds. So you'll have your own personal copy. So nobody else can have to teach you nothing. And it won't be open to whatever someone's feeling that day. Do you understand? No one's going to have to teach you anything because everybody's going to know me from the least to the greatest. So the question today for us is this. Are we going to recognize what Leia's life was like and how Yah's trying to show us through her life how he feels that he wants to be close to us and we don't want to be with him? We don't want to be with him. When I say we, I talk about the nation of Israel. I'm not talking about individuals online today. I'm talking about the people who are refusing to be drawn to their husband. They want to lay with someone else. They want to be entertained with someone else. They want an actual photo of their husband because they could get to see him. So that's what makes it special. And he's black and he got dreads now. So it makes him even more appealing. And then what even makes him sexier is that he gets to get killed for our behalf because he loves us so much. What a wonderful story. What a romantic story. You know, it's called romantic. It's Romanized. Romanized. That's where romantic comes from the Romans. There is no one else that you and I need to listen to. Yahweh sees our affliction. Yahweh hears, just like he heard Leia and he saw what her situation was. He sees and hears our situation. Yahweh wants to join us to him. And you and I should want to be joined to Yahweh. And for us to join ourselves to him in any other method besides the one that he said that only the Levi'im are the people that you and I can trust to become before him. That's the family that he chose. That was a covenant that he made with them forever. Anybody that does outside of that is to be put to death. They are to be put to death. I said it. So I want to show it to you. Found in the book of Numbers, chapter number 3. This is what Yahweh says. Chapter number 3 and verse number 10. Oh, how about verse number 5? Yahweh said to Moshe, some of the tribe of Levi, and assign them to Aharon and the Kohen. They're all from the same family. Okay. But in that family, Yah has Aaron and his sons. Okay. They're the Kohanim. They're the ones who are going to serve Yahweh. They're the ones who are going to approach Yahweh, but they need help. So Yahweh says, some of the tribe of Levi, from where Aaron comes from, that's his family, and assign them, meaning his cousins and uncles and all those extended brother, and assign them to Aaron, the Kohen, so that they can help him. They are to carry out his duties and the duties of the whole community. So they're for the community and they're for Aaron before the tent of meeting and performing the service of the tabernacle. Okay. They are to be put in charge, or excuse me, they are to be in charge of all of the furnishings of the tent of meeting and to carry out all the duties of the people of Israel connected. See that again, the Levi connected, because they're the ones who are connecting Israel to Yahweh with the service of the tabernacle. So instead of Israel doing this, Yahweh appointed the tribe of Levi on Israel's behalf, assigned the Lavaim to Aharon and his sons. Their one responsibility in regard to the people of Israel is to serve him. So Yah is giving Levi to Aaron to help serve in the tabernacle on behalf of Israel. That's what Israel was supposed to do. But Yah says, I don't want you guys to come close to me, so I'm going to choose this other family to come close to me, because you guys right here, Israel, you guys were supposed to, but you got out of line. You guys were unfaithful to me, so I'm not going to let you come near me. And because Leviim are the ones who took out their swords and killed the people who went against me, I gave them this position. That's their responsibility in regard to the people of Israel, to serve who? To serve him. Who's him? Aaron. So the people of Israel is the one who giving the Leviim to Aaron. Okay. You are to appoint Aharon and his sons to carry out the duties of the priesthood. Anyone else who involves himself is to be put to death. Anyone else, you're going to be put to death. Okay. So when Yah gives a responsibility to a certain people in a certain tribe, anybody that comes along and tries to change that, those people are to be put to death. They are to be put to death. Okay. That's what it is. So when you got these people out here that are calling themselves priests and they call themselves Lavaim and they don't have a register and they don't know who they are, and you got people that are going around saying they're Kohanim and they got a whole establishment in their congregation as if they're really a priest, Yah's going to kill those people. And you guys think he's not going to do it because they didn't know. No, Yah's going to kill them. You understand? So don't follow anybody that's calling himself a Kohanim. I almost fell for that trap. Well, we're just going to call ourselves Kohanim. No. Yah says, don't say they're Kohanim. You got to be from that family. And if you're not from that family, you're a liar. And if you try to be part of something that he never told you to be part of, he's going to put you to death. He's going to kill you. Matter of fact, he used Aaron's rod to put in the tabernacle with all the other staffs of all the leaders of the tribe to find out which one of these families did I choose. I chose Aaron and his family. Anybody else that puts their hand to this is being put to death. So you can't go around and pretend that you're a Leviim. You can't go around and say you're a priest. You can't go around and say any of those things. At best, all you can say is you're a teacher. That's all you can say. And you can say you're a son of Israel, or daughter of Israel, or a More or a Morah. That's all you can say. You can actually say too that you're a rabbi if you want to. If you're a master of a house, if you manage a house. If you're a husband, you could be a rabbi. But they turn to a religious term. So now the only people who can say that is the people who's in charge of a congregation. That's a lie. That's not true. If you're ever in charge of your own house, you could be your rabbi. You're the master of your house. The one who's supposed to be increased with knowledge. That's to who you are. Okay. I want you guys to understand something. We cannot say that we love the Creator, and if we're not doing what he asked us to do, you can't say it. So get it in your mind. Get it up here. This is the one thing that you have to be more serious about than anything else. You think being serious about your healthcare and your diet and where you live and all those things are important. The most important thing that you can really be paying attention to is to make sure that you never cross the creator. I could read some stuff in here to tell you what Yah said he did to his people. And then you might get discouraged and don't want him to be your Elohim anymore. I could tell you that if you go against him, he'll have you eat your own kids, but you don't want to hear that because that's not the God you want to serve. I could tell you that he told them, they said, well, where should we go? He says, go to death, go to the sword, go to famine. I'm killing everybody. I can also show you that he says, you know what? You went against me. I'm not going to let you get buried. I'm going to let your bones be out in the field. Oh, no one in your family is ever going to be buried. Guess what? Everybody that comes out your family, I'm going to let the beasts of the field eat you guys up. And the birds of the air are going to eat you up. I'm going to hit you with famine and plague. But you don't want that, Elohim. You don't want the one who will chase you with a sword and kill you and wipe you out. This is the one that Israel has to deal with. And this is the one that everybody's running away from and going to their boyfriend because their boyfriend won't do this to them. Their boyfriend is going to love them and forgive them by the means of the innocent dying for the wicked. But we saw David said, I wish you get rid of the wicked. Y'all never kill the innocent for the wicked. Period. What is he trying to tell us today? What is he saying to us today on this Shabbat? God's saying, I have enemies. I got people that love me. And I got people that hate me. And the people that love me are going to be the ones that are going to do what I said. Moshe told you what I said. The only reason why Moshe told you what I said is because you chose, your ancestors, which were you were there. You chose to listen to Moshe. That's who you asked to go on your behalf, and therefore you asked for him, and I gave him to you. Now that I've given him to you, now you don't want to listen to anything he has to say. You see? So now you guys want to come up with somebody else when you're the one who chose Moshe. You didn't choose Isaiah. I just told you as a benefit to you, I would choose Isaiah and Jeremiah and Yeremiyahu and Ezekiel and all these other prophets. I told you that I would send people to you to warn you about what I said. And I actually wanted them to prove what I said to come true. If it didn't come true, you had nothing to listen to about that prophet. If they came in my name and nothing ever happened that they said happened, and they said you're going to get peace and you didn't get peace, I didn't send that prophet. That's on you. If you want to believe him, believe him. You guys want to believe a fisherman? Then believe a fisherman. You want to believe a tent maker that never mentioned my name? Then believe a tent maker. Because I sent the tent maker to test you. Because he's telling you there's a different way. And he's telling you about all the mysteries that it's been revealed to him. And he wrote a whole bunch of letters, and not one time did he ever mention my name. But if you want to listen to him, because I got to find out if you're going to listen to what I said and test what I said. I'm not asking you to walk behind me blindly. I'm not asking you to have faith in me. I've never asked you that. I've never asked you to have faith and believe in me. Not one time did I ever command you to believe me. Everything that your ancestors saw was real. The fire was real. The slavery was real. The opening up the Red Sea was real. The crossing the Jordan was real. The walls of Jericho coming down were real. King David was real. Saul was real. The wars were real. Me hanging Israel leaders up by their necks in front of the sun was real. Everything that I've done for you has been real. But I use men to find out whether or not you're going to be wholehearted with me. I will test you and I will tempt you to find out whether or not you truly love me. Did I test your father? Yes, I did. I asked him to do something, and he was willing to do it. All I wanted to know was whether he was willing to do it, and I saw that he was willing. He wasn't willing to withhold anything from me, the thing that he loved the most. And as I warned you, it could be your mother, your brother, your sister, and the wife that you love so dearly that you hold close to your chest. If she tells you to go against me, don't listen to her. You have to be wholehearted with Yah. If you're not wholehearted with Yah, then you hate him. And you may deny that. You might find every reason you can to justify your existence. You can say, well, I read the Bible, so I don't hate him. I do good things, so I don't hate him. I don't call on the name of JC, so I don't hate him. Yah says you have to do what I said. And you have to love me. You have to have the ability and the desire to love me wholeheartedly. And if there's anything that's preventing you from doing so, if you want Christmas to be the reason why you decided to give your life up, then fine. No one is going to tell you this. You don't think that Yah will put you to death for attending Easter? He will. Did he put Israel to death for attending a festival and serving another God? He did. Israel can't do these things. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Israel can never have another Elohim. Israel can never call upon the name of another Elohim. We're forbidden even to mention the name of any other God to come off our lips. That's in Exodus chapter number 23, verse 13. It is a command to never speak the name of another Elohim to come off your lips. We have done that, and because we have done it in the past, Yah says you now need to be purified because you have spoken the name. You and I don't see the significance or the severity of even speaking the name of another God. That right there declared something that was a crime against the Holy One of Israel. That is a crime, and we've committed that crime. And if you continue to commit that crime, that's something that says you don't love him because you're not willing to say, I'm sorry. And even after we committed these crimes, we still have to be washed and cleansed. There's different processes. And a lot of us don't want to go through those processes. Does Yah expect you to be a scholar and know the Hebrew language? No. But what does he expect you to do? To learn, to get what you can. Does he expect you to read the Torah every single day? Yes, he does. Because right now we're not in a position where we cannot afford not to read the Torah. And if you're not going to read it with sincerity, then don't read it. Go do what you got to do. Go follow your gods. Because the people that he's looking for they're like a family of people who are willing to die for what he's talking about. Not what they believe. They're willing to die about what he said. He's never asked you to believe anything. He's asked you to obey what he said, to do what I said. So it's already written. You already have a copy. Now the only thing you have to do now is you have to make a choice. So today, make that choice. Today, make up your mind. Is it going to be the world and their attractions? What is it going to be? Is my certainty and my faith in my life is going to be contingent upon that which I'm receiving from those around me, my enemies? Or am I going to look forward to the coming of the great and mighty one? You're not following him in vain, people. Yah has not spoken to us in vain. He has not said that I need you to do what I'm telling you so I can leave you in your captivity. This is your time. You know, you put a child in timeout. I'm putting you there so you can start thinking about your actions, your manner of life and conduct. And what I need you to do is make up your mind. If you make your mind up and you decide for yourself that you're going to do what he asked you to do, then do it wholeheartedly. Don't waste another day of your life being double-minded or being uncertain or being wishy-washy. If Yahweh told you certain things, then you have to do it. And if you don't understand it, that's fine. But just go to him. I don't understand it. Help me understand. And so he'll give it to you. Any questions? Any contributions? I know it's tough. I know it's hard to hear. But I'm going to be honest with you. Like I always am. These people out here are lying. They're dragging our people all the way down. And for what? We were sent into exile because of our crimes. So the only way to get out of your crimes or to get out of your situation is to turn and go the opposite direction in which way you were going. That's what this is about, you guys. We have to understand that Yahweh sees, he hears, he knows what's going on, and he's letting us know that if we want to be joined to him, we have to love him. That's the only way we're going to get it. So is that hard? Well, it would be hard if you thought love was, how much stuff you get. Your kids think, well, you don't love me because you didn't buy this for me or because you won't do this for me. You don't love me, A wife only thinks her husband loves her when he buys her a new house. Then that's when he loves her. Or he participates on Valentine's Day. That's when he loves her. Not all the other things that he does for her. None of that matters. The only way that we've been trained to understand love is that what someone gives to you. But Yah's love is one of a corrective action. Yah's love for us is one is corrective and a love that's supposed to bring us back together. Do you know that's the whole purpose of everything? Is for Yah to join himself with us and to bring us back to him? It's only when you join yourself to someone and you attach yourself to someone that you can literally say that you love them. When you're willing to forsake everything else and everyone else to be attached to that person. If someone says that they love you, then they want to be attached to you. And when they come attached to you, they have to accept the terms and the conditions in which you're talking about. Just like in a marriage contract. You don't get to pick. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but the contract is the wife doesn't get to talk about what she's going to do. No, the contract is these are the expectations. I don't know if that's the Torah, and that's Genesis chapter number 20. Yah lays out the contract. He tells them this is what it is. He didn't say, well, what are you going to, and all they need to do so as I do. So the terms and conditions are set by the husband. He's the one who lays it out. So if you have a woman that you want to be with, you tell her these are the terms and conditions. Men, I'm listening. If you listen to me, if you're going to go into a marriage, you lay out what the expectations are, like Yahweh has done, and say this is what it is. And if that woman doesn't agree with those terms and conditions, then you don't want that woman. Women, if a man cannot come to you and lay out what his expectations are and what it is he promises to do for you, and he ain't laid and spelled that out, Yah spelled out what he would do for Israel. He told him, if you do what I say, I'll do this for you. I'll do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. What else has he asked for them except for to do what he says? Nothing. He's the one who is the initiator, and we're the respondent. So that's what it is. That's the way it goes. So we got to accept that. That's not just part of our culture. That's part of life. Yah sets the tone. And this is the marriage contract. You guys broke it. What are you going to do to replace? What are you going to do to make it right? There's always a clause in a contract. Okay. If there's a default in any contract, there's always some kind of way to make things right. There's a clause to let you know, well, there's a corrective action that can be made to reinstate the contract. So Yah's put a clause inside of the contract that says, if you turn back to me and you do what you're supposed to do and carry out what I told you wholeheartedly, then I'll accept you back. So that's the only thing we got to do is just turn back our heart. And that could be a very difficult thing for some people. Please, just listen to what the Creator's saying. That being said, I say Shabbat Shalom to you. I say that you have a wonderful Shabbat today. I say, may the blessing of the Holy One through his word today be upon us. Okay. Not the blessings of land, because we don't have that, but we can receive a blessing from him, from his word, to help us and to understand I need to change my ways. I'm guilty, you guys. I don't speak from a place of I'm accomplished. I don't speak from that place. I speak from a place of humility. And as someone who has been teaching you, there's a lot of growth that I personally have to do in order for me to be able to say these things to you. I will never speak something to you that me myself have never done or experiencing. Some things you're just going to have to get, you have to get over. You're going to have to get used to it. It's just that's what it is. And Yah will use challenges in our life, like he did Leia, to bring us closer to him. If you notice, she just kept praying to him. And once she recognized that Yah was giving stuff to her and she recognized it, she would use those opportunities to give praise and to say that Yah did this and Yahweh hears. So she had an awareness about him through her life's experience. She had a hard life. And even through her difficulty, and even through her weariness and her exhaustion, and even through after her being hated all the time, she knew that Yahweh was seeing what was going on and Yahweh was hearing what was going on. That's what she knew. And that's what Yah wants us to know today. So hopefully you were able to get that from this lesson today. Hopefully you were able to capture that today. Okay. So I say Shabbat Shalom. Any contributions, additions, statements?
I don't know if I don't think it's related, but I'm studying, I'm learning colors in Hebrew.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. The Lavan, the Leia's father's name means white.
Yes. Yes.
And then Ham means brown.
Yeah.
And then red means Adom.
Adom. Yes.
That was real interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
No,
but
you are. You are. You pronounced every last one of them correctly.
yeah, and then green is Yarok.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It has to do with vegetation. Yeah, that's the reason why they call it that, because it has to do with vegetables. That's what
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. So everything is functional. So when we talk about those things, like when we talk about Adam, okay, Adam is red, or Adom, it has to do with red, right? Like they got a wine, a very expensive way called Dom Perignon, right? And that's, I guess, in French. But that Dom is talking about Dom. That's that red, that blood, the red blood. So anything that's red would automatically be called a dome or Adam. And that's where you got Edom from, because he was red. He was a red color, right? And then also Adam has to do with the color of the dirt, right? And Adam is very ruddy. So David was like very ruddy. He's reddish color. So yeah, great stuff. Lavon, or you Lavon, Lavon. That's where you get your word Lavona. And Lavona means frankincense, and frankincense is a yellowish white sap that you get from the tree, right? And that's where you get Lavona from, for Lavon. And it puts up a white smoke, right? So all those things are functional. They're all connected together. Beautiful. Thank you for that contribution.
But on the yellow, I don't know how to pronounce that correct. It's like Zahov. So
Oh no, it's called really, where it is, the word is called Zahav. And Zahav is from gold. Yeah, gold, right? So they're coming yellow for Zahav. They may have kind of changed the pronunciation of it, but it's a Zion and a hay and a vet. Yeah, a hay and a vet. And it's called Zahav, and Zahav means gold. But Zahav is the color of honey. And Udavash, it means honey, and because that's the color of honey, and it's the color of wheat. So that's everything. The color is related to. Zahav is gold, and they have different words that describe that color. And so that's really the color, and they get it from gold. So honey is like, they use that word, yellow, they'll use that word. Anything that's yellow, it has pus, P-U-S-S, that has that Zahav. It's Zav. That's what they use for pus, because it has a yellow color. So anything, so the roots are very, they're related and they're connected.
So everything in Hebrew is physical.
Yes, it's all physical. So anything that we talk about physically, like we talk about etzim, right? So etzim is a bone, but etzah means a tree. So a tree is like your bones, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and so when he talks about, he told Kuah and Adam, that you're going to have pain. She's going to have pain in her body, and so is he. They're both going to experience pain. Her pain is going to be through childbirth, because what happens to her bones? Well, when she gets pregnant, her bones expand. Her pelvis expands. Everything is out of place. Okay. When a man is working, he says, you're going to have pain by working the field, and you're going to feel pain. The pain is in his bones and his hands from having to do all that work in his bones. So yeah, that's a way for us to recognize that Yah was saying that's affliction and that's pain through your labor. That's why when he sent Israel into exile, he says, I'm going to send you to go do work. You're going to work 7 days a week now. You didn't want to do the Shabbat, so now we're going to work all the days. So I'm going to bring pain to you, and I'm going to bring recognition to your transgression through your body. And that's what so now everyone's not having to work hard like that anymore. So no one's doing the hard labor, not back-breaking work, not working out in the field, not picking cotton, not building stuff, not working, from sun up to sundown. So they don't feel all the pain in their bones. They don't feel that, because now our jobs are desk jobs, over the internet. So now everyone's like, oh, well, we're not, I ask people all the time, you're not experiencing the curse. Oh, I'm not experiencing curse. Everything good with me, because they don't have that pain. They're not associated with it, right? So any kind of pain that Yah allows to happen to the people is a reminder of what they've done, of their transgression. Yah uses physical elements to bring about the emotional. So if I want to get to you emotionally, I'll break you down physically, because they're connected. So right now I'm having problems with my nervous system, and my body hurts all the time. So Yah's in working with you emotionally. He afflicts a person in order for them to bring about the change that they need. So it's not like I just need you to change because I'm just asking you to change. I'm going to bring about the change through the physical. I'm going to put you in shackles and chains and heat and exhaustion so I can get to your soul, because that's the way I designed you. When Job went through what he went through, Eov, right, which his name means my enemy. When Eov went through what he went through, Yah used what? He used physical problems and pain to get his attention, to bring about the change that he needed to happen in Job. So I accept my affliction, and so should you. If you're afflicted, accept it, because Yah is using your affliction, because in our affliction, that's when we draw close to Yah. When Leia was going through what she was going through, she called on Yah. She was calling on him. When Rachel had her problem, she called on Yah. When Yaakov had his problem, he called on Yah. When you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you? So affliction brings us closer to Yah. So that's why Yah chose as a benefit to send Israel through affliction, because it's only through affliction that Israel gets to change their minds. You see what I'm saying? Say, oh, I'm done. You could get whooped so long, like, oh, I'm tired. I'm tired of this. So it is physical. I'm glad you brought that point out. So that's what Yah uses. He uses the physical elements of the rain to say, I'll bring upon blessing upon you. The moment you get the rain cut off, Yah says, I'm not blessing you. I'll take away your food. What? To get your attention. He always asks him, what, are you not paying attention? Have you not seen that there's no food? Have you not seen there's been no rain? Why hasn't it been no rain? Because I'm in charge of the rain. So you obviously ain't doing what you need to be doing, because if you were, you'd be getting the rain. So Yah uses physical things to get to us. So this whole idea in the New Testament about everything being spiritual is a farce. They don't want to deal with the physical. That's why they don't talk about the land. That's why they don't talk about the descendants. They don't talk about anything. All they talk about is heaven, which is not, you can't put your finger on it. You can't. You cannot, it's not something that can be quantified. It can't be qualified or quantified, because none of us have been there. We can't qualify it, and we can't quantify it. If you can't qualify and quantify it, then you can't examine it. If you can't examine it, you can't make a judgment. So everybody that's following that narrative is going blindly into it. They're called blind faith. They have never seen it. It can't be qualified. It can't be quantified. And it's going off of witnesses that there's second and third party witnesses. People heard that they heard. And then they don't even know who the authors of the New Testament is. So everybody's going off of other people's words. So when you look at it, you go, am I going to listen to the creator? Or which I know that the whole world knows this story? Or am I going to go off of what the fisherman said? So at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Either you're going to listen to what the creator said, or you're going to listen to what men said. Period. That's what it boils down to. And that's why Yah is testing us to find out whether or not you're going to do that. Is David going to listen to the New Testament, or is he going to listen to what they call the Old Testament? Is he going to read and study for himself, or is he just going to take someone else's word for it? What's going to be? You know, are you going to listen to the Muslims that say that they follow the Torah, but yet they eat seafood that have they eat the shrimp and everything, and they say it's clean because it's in the water? Or are you going to believe what Yahweh says that says you can't eat that? You see? So it's always about what he said. And that's why that's the theme. So Yahweh knows a person that loves him will do what he says, and a person who doesn't love him, they will put distance between Yah. When I talk about hatred, I'm saying they're making a reason why. I call my brothers and sisters all the time. Hey, you guys want to get together, talk? Hey, this is what it is. Guess what? I don't hear from them because they're putting distance. They hate me. I'm a thorn bush to them because they believe I'm going to do harm to them. They believe everything I'm saying is going to be harmful to them, so they stay away from it. They don't embrace it because I'm a thorn bush. So Yah is saying, I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to see if you're willing to draw near to me, where you keep the enemy away from me. When Yah talks about guarding, listen to me carefully. Yah tells us to guard the commandments. Yah's telling us to put a thorn bush around the commandments. Yah is saying everybody outside of the thorn bush is an enemy trying to come in to attack that which is supposed to be protected. You're supposed to have a guard. When you talk about guard your mind, you better put some thorn bush there. That's why Dawid said, don't I hate all those who hate you? And I hate them with a perfect hatred. Meaning anybody that's against Yah, I'm going to put a thorn bush around me to keep them away from the Torah, from damaging the Torah, from going against Yahweh's words. That's what you're supposed to be guarding. You know, so you're not guarding the Ark of the Covenant. You're guarding what was in the covenant. You're guarding what's in the box. You're guarding the words, the testimony of Yah. That's what Israel's supposed to guard. They're not guarding the Lavona. They're not guarding the offerings. They're not guarding any of the incense. They're guarding the words that were in the box, which is the words that the Creator spoke, which is his testimony, the words that he spoke to Israel. If you're not guarding that in the Torah that was on the side of the box, the writings and the instructions about how we're supposed to live in a manner of life and our conduct and our moedims, if you're not guarding those things, you're letting the enemy in. And you can't be a friend of Yah's and love Yah and also to be with the enemy. This is where the rubber meets the road. What army are you part of? So now he's saying to you, are you going to be like the ones who are joined to me? I gave you the Levitical priesthood and showed you how did the Levites come into a relationship with me to be joined to me? They came to me under the auspices of having to kill their own family members. They were willing to guard what I said. So the people that are down with me are the people that are willing to die and put somebody to death. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't see how I could kill my own people. Guess what? The people that did say that, Yah killed them the following day. He just killed Korach, and he just opened up the earth, and he killed Aviram and Nadab, and he killed you killed Yahweh's people. Yah says, move out the way, Moshe. I'm going to wipe them all out. Move out the way. Because they're not committed and they're not wholehearted. That's what you're part of. That's what you're part of. You're blood in and blood out. This is greater than mafia. This is blood in, blood out. The covenant that we're in is in. You're in it. And the only way you could get out of it is by being killed. Because if you did walk away from it, you're going to be killed with everybody else. That's why he says the words that I speak to you, they're life. And anybody that does them, he can live through them. You live by these words. If you go against these words, you're going to die. And I've already showed that to you in Deuteronomy. You go against Yah, he's going to kill you. Don't you understand that? He's going to kill you, and he's going to kill everybody that belongs to you. And there won't be, well, you know what? He didn't know and she didn't know. No, you're dead. Well, what about Lot and his wife? He killed her. He killed her. Straight up. Killed her. Why? Because she did something he told her not to do. You see? So that's what Israel needs to understand. That's the God that you and I serve. That's our Elohim. That's our power. That's who he is. There's no apologies. I'm not going to apologize for Yah saying, you go against me, I'm killing you. If you're not loyal to me, I'm killing you. Do you understand that? I'm going to destroy you and destroy your family and cut your line off, and you will never see another day of light. You will never, under the heavens, you will never exist again. When I'm talking about wiping you out, I'm talking about wiping out your existence for forever. You will never be remembered through your family, your children. You will never have the opportunity to be recycled and perhaps come back through your family again to be able to see another day. I'm going to get rid of you. Like David said, I'm going to wipe you off the face of this earth. Because the wicked are the ones who abandon the Torah. Those are the ones who are the wicked. The wicked are the ones who say, I'm not going to do what Yahweh says. And you guys have been taught, and I've been taught, to believe people because they say they love him. And they got all these things that they say. We like the way people look. As long as they look good to us, then they're fine. She's a nice person. She doesn't do anything wrong. She's not evil. She's not. Really? Those who abandon the Torah praise the wicked. Verse number 4, chapter number 28, Proverbs, from a king. Those who abandon the Torah praise the wicked. But those who keep Torah fight them. Don't you get it? Don't you see? There is no middle ground between us and them. There is no agreement between light and darkness. There's no one day we're with Yah and the next day we're not. Evil people don't understand justice, and they never will. And they, even if Yah delivered the wicked, they would still go against Yahweh. Even if he spared them, they still wouldn't learn what righteousness is because they hate him. Those who seek Yahweh understand everything. Better to be poor to live an honest life than to be crooked in one's ways, though rich. A wise son observes Torah, but a friend of those lacking restraint shame their father. So my son, he'll be wise if he observes the Torah. But if he decides that he wants friends that lack restraint, he brings shame to me. You understand? If a person will not listen to the Torah, they say, I'm not going to listen to the Torah. I'm not going to listen to what Moshe said. I'm not going to listen to what the Diet said. I'm not going to listen to the Shabbat. I'm not going to listen to the laws, statutes, and the commandments. I'm not going to rehearse the covenant. I don't want to hear about the curses. You won't hear the curses? Even his prayer is an abomination. That person's prayer is an abomination. So it behooves us, if you don't really, really want to know the truth about who hates the Creator, then you better stop going around trying to do missionary work, because you're going to find out. And then guess what? Your group of people are going to come down. When you find out that cousin that you love, and you guys grew up and slept in the same bed and ate the same bowl of oat meal and cream and wheat with and multi-meal, and you turn around and you find out that they actually hate the Creator. I can't have nothing to do with them. That's what Yah is doing. He's trying to find out who loves me and who hates me. And he wants you to know who loves him. And he wants us to know who hates him, to give you an opportunity to make a way to say, you know what, either I'm with Yah or I'm with them. You might have to turn your back on some people. But guess what?
ACHI'KA.
Yes.
I wanted to say that one significant thing to me, there are many things during the lesson that are significant, but this is outstanding. That it's through Levi that Yah joins himself to us.
Yes.
And until the priesthood is reestablished, we are disconnected.
We're disconnected, Okoti. We're disconnected. And he put that there for us to recognize that. So when a person says he's with us, then you say, well, where's the priesthood? Oh, that's why Yeshua came. He's the priest now. And Peter, James, and John, they're the royal priesthood now. And Titus and Timothy. No. See, that should let us know. It is significant. It is profound. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's letting us know. I'm not joined with you right now. I've already told you that. So don't be mad, just understand. He said, well, okay, well, why not? Why is he no longer with us? Why has he done this? He says, you should be able to answer those questions. I want you to know why I'm not with you. I really want you to know, because if you find out why I'm not with you, maybe you'll change your ways. Maybe if you accept the truth about what I'm saying to you, maybe then you would say, you know what? I need to change my act. I need to get this right, because guess what? There's coming a time where Yah is going to come and he is going to join himself with us. He tells us this. Okay. But listen what he says. Oh, here it is. Praise the Holy One of Israel. He says this in the book of Jeremiah. When you tell this people all that I have said, they'll ask you, why has Yahweh decreed all this terrible disaster against us? What is our iniquity? What is our sin that we've committed against Yahweh, our Elohim? Then you are to say to them, it is because your ancestors abandoned me, says Yahweh. They went after other gods, serving and worshiping them, but abandoned me and did not keep my Torah. That's why. You see that? They abandoned me. You've abandoned me. They've abandoned my Torah. They did not guard it. They did not keep it. They did not protect it. The words that I've spoken to them, and you have done worse than your ancestors. Look, each of you lives according to the stubbornness of his own evil heart, so that you don't listen to me. Therefore, I am thrusting you out of this land into a land that you have not known. Neither you nor your ancestors, and there you will serve other gods day and night. Not just during the day, day and night. And I will show you what? No favor. You ain't gonna get no favor when I do this. So all the people that left the class because I told them that there's no favor, they have a problem with what Yah said. It's not me. I don't take it personal. This is what he says. When you get there, there ain't gonna be no favor towards you. Therefore, says Yahweh, the day will come when people will no longer swear. As Yahweh lives, who brought out the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt, they ain't gonna say that no more. Guess what they are gonna say? Because there's coming a day. As Yahweh lives, who brought the people of Israel out of the land of the north and all the countries where he drove them, I will bring them back to their own land, which I gave to their ancestors. Look, says Yahweh, I will send for many fishermen, not in the New Testament, and they will fish for them. And afterwards, I will send for many hunters, and they will hunt for them from every mountain and hill and out of all the caves and the rocks. For I see all their ways. Yes, they're not hidden from me. Isn't that what we read today? That Yahweh sees, that nothing's hidden from him. And he says, their crimes are not concealed from my eyes. Oh, really? Their crimes. But I told you Yah forgives crimes. But he sees them. First, I will pay them back. Oh, really? Yeah. How much? Double. I'm going to pay you double for your crimes and sins. I thought you said you forgave crimes. I do forgive them, but I'm going to pay you. Like I told you. Nothing I do can't be weighed. It has to be weighed. It has to be balanced. You commit a crime, you go pay for it. And I determine how much you're going to pay. And here I told you I'm going to pay you back double for your crimes and sins. And am I going to pay them or am I going to pay Christ? I'm going to pay them double because they have defiled the land which is mine. They have and filled my heritage with corpse and horrors of abominations. You understand? Yahweh, my strength, my fortress, my refuge in the time of trouble, the nations will come to you from the ends of the earth. And guess what they're going to say? Our ancestors inherited nothing but lies, futile idols, completely useless. And those lies that they heard was the New Testament. The lies that they heard is someone can die for your sins. The lies that they heard is that the Christ on the cross was the one who can save them. And this is what Yah asked. Can a person make himself gods? In fact, they are not gods at all because they don't exist. Therefore, I'll make them know once and for all, because that's the goal. I will make them know my power and my might. Then they will know that what? That I gave someone to die for their sins? No. H to the E to the double L. No. No. They're going to know who I am when I bring upon my judgment. Because they're going to cry out to these gods and no one's going to hear them. And what's the God they're going to cry out to? Oh, that's right, JC, the white guy, the Caucasian, the European. And guess who else is going to cry out to him? Oh, that's right, the black one, Yeshua HaMashiach. We'll cry to him too, and ain't nobody going to be able to save them either. You get it? So this is what Yah's telling us. So there ain't no joining. There ain't no favor. There ain't no connection. Because Yah has to prove us to find out whether or not we love him. What better way to test this? What better way to find out if somebody's going to really love you by sending them into exile and put another God in front of them? You see the contrast? No one can die for your sins. Everyone's going to die for their own sin. Okay, that's what Yah said. Peter, James, and John, and them, and Lucas and Marcus said that he sent somebody to die for your sins. And all you got to do is say that you believe that. Peter says you can eat anything. All things are clean. Yah says I have clean and unclean animals. And I'm going to use the priest to distinguish between that which is clean and which is unclean. Oh, but the New Testament says that they're a royal priesthood and that the priesthood of Levitical priesthood is done away with because Yeshua HaMashiach from the tribe of Judah, that's a new priesthood, and he's under the Melchizedek order, which Yah never spoke of anything about Melchizedek, anybody being under the Melchizedek order. Never said, well, the Leviim are going to be this, or the people are going to be this. He told Dawid that you're going to be like Melchizedek, meaning you're going to be like a priest to me. Because Dawid, when he gets into the power and Yah reunites Israel and establishes a priesthood, that the king himself is going to bring offerings and sacrifices to Yah in the book of Ezekiel. See? New Testament says that you're going to heaven. They all declared that you're going to heaven. Even Paul went to heaven and he saw a vision. He actually got bit by a rattlesnake and nothing happened to him. He just cast the snake off into the fire. He shook it off like it was nothing. Over here, Yah tells us, I'm going to give you land and descendants. Over there, you get heaven. Over in the New Testament, he tells you don't have to be circumcised anymore. It doesn't mean anything, whether you're circumcised or uncircumcised. But back where Yah says that anyone who doesn't get circumcised broke my covenant. So you got to compare. But you can't make a comparison if you never read it. So your life is always going to be about reading and studying. That's what Yah's trying to let us understand. There's no way for us to get this information by any other way. He says it's already in your mouth. You don't need anybody to bring it down from heaven. You don't need anybody to cross the sea to give it to you. It's already in you. So if you're looking for it, it's already there. You don't need anybody to bring it to you. That's what Moshe said. The Yah told him to say that. There's nothing. You don't need anybody to do it for you. It's near you. It's in your mouth. Why? So you could do what Yahweh says. It's obedience, people. That's all it is. Ask your child, do you love me? I love you, Daddy. Then do what I say. Do what I ask you to do. But if they don't love me and they hate me, guess what they do? They put distance between us so they don't have to hear what I said. See, they think they're going to get away because as long as they don't talk to dad, as long as they don't say nothing to dad, then dad is going to forget what he said. And then I don't have to be accountable because I never asked him. I never said anything about it. But yet they forget that I'm still their father. You can stay away as long as you want to. But you're going to have to answer. That's what Yah is telling us. So, anyone else? I hope you guys are seeing it. I'm trying to paint this picture to let you know what's required of us. Everybody online. You got to be down with Yah. And if you're not, you're gone. And all the people that is live on YouTube, I need you to understand that you're gone. And if he puts a sword in my hand and tells me to take you out, when we get to that place, I will. Just like the Leviim, he told them to do the same thing because they were willing to serve another God. Don't you remember? Yah is concerned with people that are willing to join them. When Levi got to that position, he gave them the priesthood because they were willing to join themselves to Yah. Moshe asked the question, who's with Yah? Who's with Yah? And guess what? That family said, we're with them. And that's why they're in the priesthood. So Yah's looking for loyalty and he's looking for commitment. And it's not regular commitment, absolute commitment. You understand? Total, complete commitment. And if you ain't willing to kill for Yah, like Pincus, because he was from the family of Levi, then you're not worthy of Yah. If you're not willing to go into the land and kill everybody that Yah told you, you're not worthy of Yah. Caleb was. He was wholehearted with Yah. Yah celebrated him, gave him everything his foot stood on. Yah loved Yehoshua. He's willing to, he killed 31 kings for Yah. If you're not willing to kill for him, you're not worthy of Yah. Well, I don't want to kill anybody. Well, I can't do it right now. Of course you can't do it right now. You're not in power. He empowers you to do it. Well, what can you kill right now? Oh, you could kill your thoughts. You could kill your ways. You could kill the ideas. You could kill Christianity. You could slice them down right now. You want to start killing somebody, start with that. Start killing those pastors that sat up there and told you lies. Put them out your mind and erase them from your thought process. Take people out. That's what you do. Mentally. Let me be clear. You got enemies. And you don't even know them. You don't even want to know you got enemies. You just want to accept everybody as your friend. But guess what? There's coming a day where Yah's going to prove who the enemies are and who are those who love him. And then he's going to make a clear distinction. He's going to show you. He said, then you'll know. Then you'll know who's who. I'm going to make a distinction between those who love me and those who don't. Those who serve me and those who don't. Do you love him? Do you love him? Well, let's ask ourselves this question. And I promise to let you go. What does he say? You have spoken strongly against me, says Yahweh. Yet you say, how have we spoken against you? He says, by saying there's no point in serving Elohim. What good is it to obey the orders? Or to walk about as mourners before Yahweh Zavaoth? That's exactly what Dawid is asking you to do right now, isn't he? Dawid is asking you to walk before Yahweh as a mourner, to be sorry about what you've done. But these people have said there's no point in doing that. And what good is it anyway? Nothing's going to change. I mean, even if I'm sad, I'm still here in captivity. It doesn't matter. We consider the arrogant happy. Everyone else around me is prospering and doing well, and they do evil and they're prospering. Why are you telling me I shouldn't hang around with certain people when those people are doing well and ain't nothing happening to them? And they put God to the test every day. Nevertheless, they escape. That's what these people are saying. There's no purpose in serving Yah. None. Because evil people are prospering and they're not going around and they're celebrating. They're going to holidays and parties and everything. You telling me that I can't do that? I should walk around with my tail between my legs, or I can't have a cup of eggnog with some brandy in it with them. And I got to set myself apart away from everybody, and I can't be around them, and I can't do what they do. And I got to be this loner. Oh yeah. Then those who feared Yahweh on Zoom spoke together. Guess what they said? Yahweh listened and he heard. Wow. I thought listening and hearing were the same thing, not in Hebrew. Yahweh gave attention. He was doing something, and then all of a sudden he heard them speak, and then all of a sudden he gave them his full attention. Then he started listening to them. It's not listening and heard. Yahweh heard them, and then he gave them attention. He gave attention, he gave ear to what they were saying. And then he was listening intently. And then a record book was written in his presence, in Yahweh's presence, for those who feared Yahweh. To fear Yahweh means to say that I'm willing to learn Yahweh's ways. I'm willing to walk in his ways. I'm willing to do what he asked me to do. I'm willing to stand before him and listen to the commands that Yahweh gives me. And not only did they fear him and they honored him, but they have respect for his name. They didn't disrespect his name. He said, they will be mine, says Yahweh Zavaoth, on the day when I compose my own special treasure. I will spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Then, once again, you will see the difference between the righteous and the wicked, as our Aki Ted had mentioned, the righteous ones and versus the ones who love Yah, and the wicked or the evil. He says, then, once again, you will see the difference between the righteous and the wicked, because there is a clear difference between the two, between the person who serves Elohim and the one who doesn't serve him. So you and I should know, just based off on basic knowledge, that he made it clear right here who the righteous are. Who are the righteous? Somebody tell me. Who are the righteous?
Those who follow Torah.
The ones who follow Torah and the ones who serve him. The one who serves Elohim are the righteous. The ones who follow him are the ones that he will spare. The ones who are his own special treasure. So the own special treasure is the one he's going to spare. The ones he's sparing is the ones who's righteous. The ones who righteous are the ones who serves him. That's the connection. And those are the ones who will be mine, says Yahweh Zavaoth. And those are the ones who will be like one who spares his own son. And guess what the bottom line is? The righteous are the ones who serve Yahweh. Service is what's righteous. The wicked don't serve Yah. The wicked don't listen. And the wicked will not be spared. These people right here will not be spared. And the only way that you can pose a special treasure is any type of thing that's precious, especially of gold, silver, or precious stones, are processed with fire. That's how you compose it. You're going to find out a difference. The righteous and the wicked. I'm going to make it clear. And in the text, it's not written in chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. So let's continue what he says about this special treasure being composed. How's it going to be composed? Oh, for there's a day that's coming. It is burning like a furnace. Oh, really? Yeah, so it burns like a furnace, fire. And all the proud and evil doers, which are the wicked, will be like stubble to be burned up. That day is coming, will set them ablaze, fire, and leave them neither root nor branch, meaning I'm going to get rid of your whole entire family line. Everybody that's down all the way in the ground, and the tree and every part of it is gone. You will never exist again. Oh, well, we're still talking about those who fear my name and show respect unto me. But those of you who fear my name, but to you, individual, who fear my name, meaning you'll do what I said, the Son, not the S-O-N, the S-U-N, the thing that's full of what? Fire, a hot ball of fire of righteousness. Why is it righteous? Why does he call it righteousness? Because I'm going to use this right here to show the righteousness, to show the difference between those who are righteous and wicked. The righteous will be able to endure the fire. The wicked are not going to be able to endure the fire. I'm going to burn them up. It's righteousness because that's how I fulfill my judgment, by using fire. That's how I purify with fire. That which cannot be cleansed outside of water has to be purified with fire. This in particular son of fire will rise with healing in its wings. Healing what? Healing my people. Getting rid of all the problems. And you, individual, that feared me, individual, will break out leaping like calves that were released from a stall, because you're going to go through the fire. And once you go through the fire, you're going to start dancing. And you're going to come out. And when you come out, guess who you're going to trample? You're going to trample over the wicked. over the evildoers and the proud who decided they didn't want to listen to the Torah. You're going to trample on them with your feet like a calf, walking out on ashes, because after I burn them up, they're going to be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that I take action, says who? Yahweh Zavaoth. I call myself Yahweh Zavaoth because I'm in charge of heaven's armies. Because that's what it means, the armies. The armies of heaven, the stars, the moon, the planets, everything. Remember the Torah. You need to remember this. You need to remember the Torah of Moshe, my servant. You don't need to remember the New Testament. You don't need to remember anything else, but you need to remember this, which I enjoin Lewi to attach him on him at Korev. When I went to Korev, I came in fire. I need you to remember that. When I talk about on Korev, Korev is called Mount Sinai, and Mount Sinai is a mountain that was full of what? Fire. And the laws and all the rulings of Israel. I gave him the Torah. I gave him the instructions. I gave him the judgments. I need you to remember this before this day. If you remember the Torah, you will read it every single day. Called a Torah portion. If you don't read the Torah portion, you're not remembering what I told Moshe. If you listen to Moshe, I didn't tell you to listen to Peter, James, and John, and Lucas, and Titus, and Timothy. I told you to listen to the Torah of Moshe. I gave this for all Yisrael. All of you. Look, I will send Eliyahu the prophet before the coming of the great and terrible day. It's not going to be a nice day. It's going to be a terrible day because it's going to be associated with fire. Oh, really? Why would you send Eliyahu? Because I sent him to Israel to prove to them that they were between two opinions. They were having what you would call a comparison. They were making a comparison between Baal and who? And Yahweh. They were saying Baal was Yahweh, and I came to show you that Yahweh is Yahweh. And the way that Eliyahu proved that was through the fire. They came down out of heaven and burned up everybody. His job when he comes is to turn these hearts of these fathers back to their children, to let them know that the only way that a father is supposed to do for his son is to turn them back to the children and to turn them back to the Torah. The hearts of the children to their fathers. Otherwise, I will come and strike the land. No, mistranslation. I'm going to strike the earth with complete annihilation. I'm going to exterminate the whole entire world. Do you understand this? Remember this. That's what you need to remember. If you don't remember it and you don't have no fear and you don't want to love Yahweh, you don't want to serve him, that's what you're getting. Wow, you going off today. Yeah, because you need to know. You need to know this. You need to know what the course of action is, and you need to know what the steps you need to take, and you need to take this serious. Because you're talking about your life. That's what you're talking about. So what was enjoined to Israel was the Torah. So don't you see the connection? Makoti Pam, can't you see now?
Yes.
Can't you see, like, Yah says, well, you guys are not joined to me through the Lewiim right now. But one thing that I did leave you so you could stay connected to me was what?
The Torah.
The Torah.
Praise Yah.
Oh, you better praise him.
Yay, yay.
You gotta praise him. We have to praise him. We got to praise him because he did give us that.
Yes.
If he didn't leave that for us, we would all be just done. But it's only given to us to help us remember what he said to Moshe, to tell us about what his plans are. Yahweh will not do anything without revealing his plans to his prophets. He tells the prophets what he's going to do. So he's already told us this. That's in the book of Amos. Yahweh will not do anything without letting the prophets know his prophets. So his prophet is Moshe. And if anybody we need to listen to is him, because he's going to tell us, well, why would he tell us about Moshe? Why would he want us to remember the Torah of Moshe? Because in the Torah of Moshe, if you can see the connections, he mentions Korev to let you know that's how I came. Anytime Yah reveals himself is in fire. He's a consuming fire. And that's how he's going to get rid of his enemies, through fire. He's going to burn them all up. That's what he's trying to tell us. But you would never know that if you didn't keep the Torah. The people that got their censers and went out and said that they were the calling in, what did he do? He sent fire down from heaven and he burned all of them up. Do you understand? So this is how he intends on destroying his enemies and these rebels. You understand? So
Yes.
those stories are not there just so you know, say, oh, that was a terrible story. No, he's telling you the terrible story in advance of the terrible day. There's coming a terrible day, a very terrible day. Okay?
Yes. Yes, thank you.
All right. This is for everybody. Any more contributions? Well, if not, I praise the Holy One of Israel for you today. I thank him for your attendance today. I thank him. And may we pray to him. Yahweh, we thank you today for the Yom Shabbat, the Hamzeh, the Yom Shabbat, Yahweh. Toda Rabah, thank you very much, Yahweh, for letting us spend this time with you. We know that you're not literally, physically with us here in our exile. Well, we have access to you. We're in your presence. Even though you've hidden your face from us, the blessings of the land, the blessings of descendants, the blessing of prosperity, the blessing of our heritage, our inheritance, which you gave us. Yahweh, I understand why you've taken everything away from us and given to us that which is more important than anything, and that is your Torah. Is an inheritance for the sons of Israel and the daughters of Israel, that we would understand and hear your words, not to be sidetracked by that which we see with our eyes. You wanted us to focus on you, Yahweh, by hearing what you say. It's not seeing, because you said my servant is blind. At that moment, we didn't have anything to see. And at this moment right now, we can see different things around us, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get closer to you based on what we see. How we get close to you is by joining ourselves to your words and trusting you, Yahweh, and keeping what you said and listening intently to you and thinking about what has happened to us. We thank you that you allowed this affliction to happen to us, to bring us closer to recognizing that we are at fault and we have transgressed against you. We have committed sins and crimes, and we know that you forgive. We know that you forgive sins. We know you forgive crimes. We know that you're merciful and you're compassionate. But we also need to understand that you will not exonerate the guilty. You said that you're going to pay us back for our transgressions, and indeed you have. But today we call upon thy name, the name of Yahweh, and we ask, Yahweh, that you will remember us, those of us who fear you and have respect unto your name. We ask that you will remember our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and that you remember the covenant of our fathers. We ask that you remember the covenant you made with us on Mount Sinai, Yahweh, the covenant that you made with our fathers, the ones of whom you brought out of the land of Mitzrayim. We know that you are the one, Yahweh, the Anoki Yahweh, the ACHI'KA. You're the one who brought us out. You're the one who has done these things to us. You're the one, Yahweh, who has plundered us. You're the one who has sent us in exile. You're the one who has scattered us. You're the one, Yahweh, who has taken vengeance upon us. We are your people, Yahweh. May you remember, Yahweh, the grace and the mercy that you swore to our fathers to bring us back to our soil, thereby being able to offer you the gifts that you've given to us. Everything that we receive, we want to receive at your hand. That way we can give it to you and know that you're the one who gave it to us, and we give back to you. As our father had said, when he had that dream of seeing that ladder, and after his dream, he woke up and he made a vow to you. And he said that whatever he would give, or you would give him, he would give you 1/10 of that back to you. Yahweh, we remember that vow, and we ask that you would empower us to bring us back to our land so we can keep that vow that our father made on our behalf. We're his descendants, and therefore we're bound by that vow because we're his children. He vowed that you would be our Elohim. He vowed that whatever you gave him, that he would give back to you 1/10. Ezra Yahweh. We ask today that we would give that to you. The only way we can keep our vow is by you putting us back in our land. The only way that we can keep our vow, Yahweh, of giving the blessing of the land is by your hand. We can do nothing without you. You scattered us, and we ask today that you would gather us. We ask today that this would be our last Shabbat here in the land of our captivity, that you bring us back to our land if she's been paid back her Shabbats, that you would join us back together as a family, and that you would build your house among us, and we will never let a stranger and a foreigner or those who are uncircumcised enter into your gates to put their hands on anything that belongs to you. We ask that you reestablish the priesthood, Yahweh, of the Lewaim, and give that promise that you gave to their father, Aharon, and to Pinchas, an everlasting covenant of peace and shalom. May we be at peace with you, Yahweh. May you bring back the king, and that he would reign and rule on your behalf, and he be the prince of the people, and he walk among the people and teach them your ways. May you bring back Reuven and Shimon and Levi and Yehudah and Zevulun and Yissachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, and Naphtali, the Benjamin, the Yosef, and the Ephraim, and the Manasseh. All of the Kol of the Bnei Yisrael. Bring us all back to you, Yahweh. Bring us all back to you to be a family underneath your roof and underneath your care, and be our Elohim. In this time, Yahweh, we swear that you alone will be our Elohim, and there will be no other. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise be to the Holy One of Israel. Hallelujah.
Who you are.
You guys have a great one. Shabbat shalom to you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Toda Rabba.
Toda Rabah.